Well, here we go again. God, I pray you work through me this day, this episode, right here, right now. Kick off this other live. Jeez. Welcome to a muzzled chat. I don't know if that was too loud or not. Let's do a screen share. Let's jump right into it. Part of me is very sad to be finishing up the sequel of the fall of the Cabal. I hope that this reaches the world to an extent that we can actually see to it the fall of this Cabal. Let's get it. Let's go. Oh my gosh, I don't know what else other than my own personal experience to kick off this very episode to ramp up the sense of urgency and the roles we all have to play right here today in this world we're living in, this era, this time, during this war, this spiritual battle, and World War III that is clearly taking place around us. Oh, you don't believe we're in World War III? Well, we got evidence, folks. I don't know how else. Like this, it's an information war among many things. But the information war has more so been what's effective in lulling us to sleep, misleading us, just all the lies, deceit. This is what the devil does. This is his expertise. This is his field. So I got more evidence that's more than likely going to lead to another ban right here on TikTok. So what is it they're trying to censor? What is it? I want you guys to ask yourself, why would TikTok not allow this clip to play? The Cabal does not care about your children. They want to mess them up and worse. We got proof. Check out this clip and then we'll discuss it. That you will not see on mainstream news, on evil propagandist manipulation, the actual misinformationists themselves, because it goes against their agenda. And this is one of the individuals, they were effective on having an impact on them when they were a kid. A kid. Unbelievable. Let's protect our children. To this woman and way to stand and speak for truth. This is amazing.
Yeah, come on in. What's your name?
My name's Clementine.
Nice to meet you.
I've actually seen your stuff online, and I'm a huge fan. I was on puberty blockers. I started when I was 12, and I was on testosterone from 14 to 17, and I got top surgery at 17. Totally messed my life up. So I just want to say you're doing a good thing. Wow. I can't believe
top surgery, top mutilation surgery as a minor. How is that doctor not in honor that you will? Totally messed my life up. This is just a real story. It's a real situation. Now, this isn't China monitoring. It's the Cabal. It's a World Economic Forum. It's the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the whole infrastructure that Janet has blessed us with in exposing. It truly does give us a clear lens as to why the world is the way it is. Now, on the flip side, what does TikTok support? Supports children transitioning, speaking out on that in the most horrific ways. This is one that got influenced into doing these things and talks about the detransitioning. It's a real story, and it totally messed her life up. More than likely infertile now. Can't have children. I should have queued up the whole clip versus what I snipped and put onto TikTok. And I'm surprised that they actually censored this because there was no label to it, by the way. It wasn't under misinformation, anything. They couldn't even put a label to it because it's a real story. They're just, you got to think about the ramifications of this. How are we going to shift the paradigm back into reality and stop the mutilation and this fictional evil momentum that they're building on this trending narrative with pronouns and a freaking circus? You could paint stripes on a cow. It doesn't make it a zebra. None of these kids, you're born a male, you're a male. There's nothing you can surgically do that is going to change that. You could lie to yourself. You could speak. Sure, you could speak. You could pretend. You could play dress up. But it doesn't change the fact of your chromosomes and what God created you as. We got to stop this circus. Stop the shenanigans. This is insanity. We got to stop platforms from censoring this. So think about it. How are we going to get this information out? Or shift the paradigm so kids stop mutilating themselves and quit continually drinking up these toxic narratives that is only going to increase. And we got the evidence as to the graphs and stats on the depression, the suicide in this culture, in this cult, essentially, that they're standing up of kids being able to transition. Unbelievable, this world. Unbelievable. How are we going to properly educate them if we don't stop this type of censorship? Because they'll now have the sources that could more so speak. They could surround themselves with more lies that will lead to the mutilation more so than the truth, because the truth is being censored. What other app are kids nowadays really spending their time on other than TikTok? This is extremely dangerous. This is extremely unacceptable, and it is a war tactic controlling information. We know who's behind it. Think to yourself, why will they allow people to talk about their transition, but they can't talk about the detransition and the damage it's caused? We need more men to stand up. We're calling more men to stand up and give a frick. Don't just project like you love individuals. Let's take action and shift this paradigm. We should get all of the kids off of TikTok. It's too dangerous. It's too messed up. All of them. And when no kids on it, no kids getting influenced, and when we take the kids off of there, they're not missing out on anything because no one around them is on that. So they're not missing out on anything. Unbelievable. We need to stand up another platform that will allow the truth more so to reign over the lies. Gosh. Here's another one. Censored. 100%. Help us reach others. Help us help others. Let's go. Let's take action. Why was this censored? Think about it. How was she free?
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
Oh, pouty. Oh my gosh. When it's more the civilian indoctrinated side, my heart goes out to those individuals, because there's been so many war tactics against individuals. Now, some of them are pretty far gone and they're actually fulfilling evil things themselves, but the ones that have just more so drank the Kool-Aid and didn't get the memo, essentially, that, hey, if you're not on a free speech platform and you're tuning into the controlled true propagandists, then you're not free in your own mind. And they didn't grasp that. How was she free? Unbelievable. Now, what sources were really referenced in here? For all they know, I could have been speaking out against MAGA, but they can't allow the call out to what they're doing. Hence, now why this one more than likely is led me to potentially my 5th ban on TikTok. Frick control / censorship. Can't you see how dangerous it is? Time to fight back and blow up Rumble. Join us and free yourself. With the war tactics that have been deployed up to this point, we'd have to be some type of insane or completely hacked or dumbed down and poisoned and sickened to an extent that we're just engulfed in that more so than willing to face the reality of the situation and world we live in. So do not fear. There's a lot of, depending on what you're struggling with, God's there to pave the way. He's there to breathe light. Look at Jesus Christ. He was able to fulfill miracles, heal the blind. You know the whole list. With the war tactics that have been
So
deployed
I'm
up
sitting
to
here.
this point, we'd have to be some type of
Due to the
insane-
lack of viewership at this particular moment, we're doing additional promo on Facebook, another tyrannical platform, trying to steal folks, for lack of better words, just get people to value their freedoms and get them on free speech platforms such as Rumble. That is the sole purpose as to why Muzzled Chat and I are even spending time on these tyrannical platforms at all. Would spend zero time if, in fact, the majority of people value their freedoms to the extent they didn't support the tyrannical censorship freaking regime. All right, I'll continue to advertise there, but as you could see, so 1, 2, 3, here was the one about the detransitioner, and it put me on some sort of list. So the anti-censorship, boom. And then this one's about to get pinged. It's getting 0 views. So this one will go down more than likely. Boom, 1, 2, 3, out. Another account just gone. So my call is to you folks. We are facing an uphill battle. How are we going to effectively protect our children unless we shift this? And it goes from the talking heads as well. All the infrastructure the Cabal has stood up and weaponized things against, not just our children, our women. You could even see politically how effective so many drank the Kool-Aid off of the delusional my right to commit murder that was pretty much entirely what one side of this political circus was, even the stance they were taking. Pro-murder. Gain our support to keep your right for pro-murder. Unbelievable how bold the evil is in this life. It breaks my heart, folks. Too many are suffering due to these war tactics, and we must put an end to it. I can't emphasize enough with speech infringed upon. We have no freedom at all with this level of tyranny, and it's impacting our kids far too much. Let's unmuzzle ourselves and stand for truth. I'm going to seek guidance in this prayer book before we dive into Janet's last work here. Now, if I could find anything additional, I'm going to start compiling information regarding her death, compile information on additional documentaries, things she was engaged in, and I'll report back on all that as soon as I can. I'm so grateful for Janet. So this reads, true strength. Weakness works. Interesting. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 1 through 5. When I came to you, brother, I did not come with eloquence or superior wisdom. Is that what it says? Eloquence or superior wisdom, as I proclaim to you the testimony about God. For I resolved to know nothing while I was with you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. I came to you in weakness and fear and with much trembling. My message and preaching were not with wise and persuasive words, but with demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not rest on men's wisdom, but on God's power. Wraps up really strongly, and the prayer is something I need to really absorb. And it reads, people fear public speaking, and I don't blame them, Lord. There seems to be nothing worse than fumbling through words while the eyes of many people focus on me. I need to think about my status as a humble messenger in life. Yes. You can speak through my words and my actions if I give myself over to you. I will accept this role of messenger and present what I need to say in my very human, imperfect way, because my weakness magnifies your greatness. My humanity allows your divinity to shine forth. Amen. 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 In fact, I'll put a star on this one because it's obviously something I need to fully encompass, embody in what he has called me to do here. It's a challenging time. It's a challenging experience, but look around us. We've never been so blessed. So let's stop walking in fear. We know the God, the light, the creator, our Savior, Jesus Christ, the miracles. He conquered death. We can come from a place of victory. There is no fear to have in this mortal existence other than the healthy fear in God himself. The only healthy fear there is. Other than that, there's 365 fear nots. We have nothing to fear. So let's get bold. Let's stand for truth. Let's get unmuzzled. Let's fight against this censorship regime and this dang cabal and see it torn apart brick by brick. Thank you, Janet. Bless you. Let's go, folks. COVID-19, the biggest scheme of all times, and the first cabal experiment to envelop the entire globe. Its goal, to exterminate the majority of the world population and turn the survivors into obedient slaves. Yeah, I'd like to see someone argue against that. Let's be real with ourselves. Fifth generation warfare, hands down. Buckle up. Let's go. Last ride with Janet. Man, that's kind of depressing. Oh, shoot. We don't have the volume on. I apologize.
Multiply that
Let's
by 10.
kick this back.
Do you remember our 4 episodes about the depopulation agenda? Well, multiply that by 10, and what you get is the COVID pandemic. Planned years in advance and worked out to the smallest details. As always, the cabal warned us years in advance. They seem to believe there's wars of karma. Let's be honest. Everything they do is always in our face. Here are a few COVID-related examples. Cabal Pit Hollywood gave us 7 movies and series, showing us some terrifying scenarios of killer viruses outbreaks.
Oh my gosh.
Bill Gates produced and co-financed one of his own. Pandemic, How to Prevent an Outbreak, about the possibility of a killer flu virus outbreak and the development of a universal vaccine. Excellent timing, Bill, produced long before the COVID-19 outbreak. All 6 episodes were released on January 22, 2020. Then there were 2 simulations of a coronavirus outbreak, one in Wuhan, China, of all places, focused on the role of customs to respond accurately to incoming bioweapon attacks, and one in New York, focused on the importance of communication during a coronavirus outbreak, financed by Bill Gates.
Wow.
Do you remember the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in London 2012?
Or the recent one.
Why on earth show dancing nurses and doctors?
Wow.
Children in hospital beds. Scary demons spreading like a virus.
It's a good point.
Zombie-like healthcare workers. Terrified children.
Oh Unbelievable. All the projections right in front of our faces.
Death. Why show the NHS? Why all the subliminal messages during the closing ceremony about anger, death, rage, and the end of the world? Can anybody please explain to us what any of this has to do with sports? With the Olympic Games?
That's a good point.
Who could have known back then that their so-called artistic show was actually an appalling glimpse into our future? We can never say we didn't know. We were warned all along, just like they've already warned us about the next outbreak.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Oh my gosh, that smirk.
Basically, the so-called COVID-19 pandemic was a huge global behavioral experiment, the biggest ever performed in the history of mankind. It was a test to see if we, the people, were ready to be enslaved. The Cabal used a variety of torture methods, as described in the Amnesty International report on torture, but hardly anybody even realized they were being tortured. What methods were used? All of them. All 8 methods to make the people submit, to break them. The breaking of their will is intended to destroy their humanity. Here we go. Number 1, isolation. Not just of individuals, but also of groups of people. Why? In order to make people feel lonely, to deprive them of social support, and to make people dependent on their oppressor.
It makes it so clear. We need to get this information out so people can actually come to terms with what we just experienced and what we must do to fix things. Yeah, torture.
Number 2, monopolization of perception. In other words, the oppressor fully decides how you perceive or experience reality. For instance, by abolishing information that contradicts the official narrative, by punishing any form of resistance or independence, by putting blame on people. Why? In order to brainwash people into thinking there is an immediate threat, to frustrate all actions that could lead to disobedience, and to make people believe they are at fault.
Check, check, check. Yeah. Ramp up that fear. Torturing of the mind.
Number 3, induce debilitation and exhaustion. In other words, to make you weak. For instance, by sleep deprivation due to fear or anxiety. By withholding essential items like food and medicine. And by constant questioning. Why? When people are mentally and physically weakened, they will lack the strength to resist.
Man. Golly, she's so good with all the visuals.
Number 4,
and receipts.
Threats about people getting killed.
Right.
Their families. Their pets.
Yep.
Threats to separate families.
Dad gets knocked out while he resisted. Unbelievable. This was Australia, not just China.
Threats of endless isolation.
They built COVID camps right here in the good old
Threats
USA.
of becoming outcasts.
If they would have been able to ramp up more fear and more momentum, those would have been utilized, and guess who would have been rounded up? Any of those that saw past the BS, their war tactics, didn't line up to do as they were told and get these bioweapon shots.
Non-citizens.
And then from there, I'm sure it would have perpetuated to anyone that didn't believe in their political propaganda and their agenda. It would have continued. It would have been, oh, we're so close. And we're still so close to, with this tyranny. We can't solely rely on the political infrastructure to fix this spiritual warfare that is taking place. It's why it's awesome to see Tucker Carlson, Russell Brand, even RFK seemingly grow testimonies in this wartime to God existing, to our Savior Jesus. That is a silver lining. That's the beautiful thing to acknowledge, and is so clear. Has it ever been more black and white and clear than this era we're living in right now?
Why? To create anxiety and despair. Number 5. Occasional indulgences. Think occasional favors, promises, and rewards for compliance. Why? To motivate people to comply.
All war tactics. Torture tactics.
Number 6. Demonstrating omnipotence. By means of confrontation, physical assaults.
Jeez.
By demonstrating complete control over people's fate. And by treating people like servants. Why? To create fear and submission, and to suggest resistance is futile.
We all complied to an extent. We all fell prey to these war tactics.
Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door.
Doen we wijk voor wijk, deur voor deur, arm voor arm.
These teams are not just knocking on doors anymore. They're actually carrying SDs and vaccinating at the door. They're seeing how many people are in that household, and they're vaccinating everyone who's eligible in that home while they knock on that door.
Now you're going to be going suburb to suburb, street to street, door to door, knocking on these and actively looking for people who are in the wrong house and finding them on the spot.
Did you hear this before? Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Wow. Mental warfare. Yeah. Make that make sense.
Number 7. Degradation. By putting people down, by verbally abusing, humiliating and shaming people in public.
Wow.
By demeaning punishments, and by denial of privacy.
Put your mask on.
Get away from me.
Put it on.
Stop it.
Whoa, whoa.
Wow.
Why? To destroy people's self-esteem. To make the cost of resistance more damaging to people's self-esteem than compliance.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Number 8. Enforcing trivial demands. By playing mind games.
What a circus we just went through, right? Unbelievable. It's so clear for those that care to see. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
By punishing obedient people for being disobedient.
What the?
And by continuously changing the rules without clear communication. Why? In order to confuse people, to create anxiety, and to make them submit completely.
Warum haben manchmal die Gaststätten um 22 Uhr schließen müssen? Ist denn das Virus erst nach 22 Uhr ansteckend und so? Ja, also vollkommen irrsinnige und widersprüchliche Maßnahmen. Der Wahnsinn ist eigentlich, dass sich dahinter Methode versteckt. Ja, das ist nämlich eine Foltermethode.
Wow, here we
die
go.
Leute total zu verwirren.
Is actually a torture method. Now, these individuals, research journalists, we didn't hear this. The dangers of control over information and censorship, which is still running rampant today. We are still facing an uphill battle. This is what's leading so many people astray on so many narratives, not just COVID. Like we started this episode regarding a detransitioner and how that, they won't tolerate that. It's a real freaking life story and how destructive it was. Surgically removing breasts, testosterone, Lupron, now creating an infertile young woman now in their childhood years. We got to get we got a bigger role to play here in fighting back, and we shouldn't discredit the impact we could have. We're trying to create that momentum on this very podcast, this platform. Help us achieve that. If it's not this platform, you have another patriot just really trying to gain results and solutions on these things. We'll support them. Share that one to the moon. But this is right here, right now, before your eyes. Let's get the message out. Janet lays it out to where we could see the importance. And we don't got speech, then we don't have freedom. And they were able to build insane momentum over a pandemic that once enough were fed up, it was over. What does that tell us?
Unsicherheit zu stürzen, völlig im Ungewissen zu lassen, auch die gesamte Lebensführung zu stören. Niemand von uns kann ja noch planen oder eine normale Lebensführung gestalten. Und da habe ich also sehr viel Material drüber gefunden, über diese Methode, die interessanterweise in China entwickelt wurde. Also die Amerikaner haben das an Kriegsgefangenen festgestellt aus Korea, die dort von Chinesen befragt worden waren, dass diese Kriegsgefangenen also permanent mit widersprüchlichen Maßnahmen behelligt wurden und dass sie sich nie sicher fühlen konnten, ob sie jetzt alles richtig machen oder nicht. Ja? Und dass es auch manchmal sogenannte Lockerungen gab, die gehören auch zu diesem Spiel, weil man sich dann also nicht so sehr an diese ganzen Maßnahmen gewöhnt, damit die noch wirken, damit man nicht abstumpft sozusagen. Ja, und dann werden die Zügel wieder angezogen. Also was Söder hier macht oder Merkel oder diese Leute, das ist kein Zufall, sondern das ist, sie versuchen einfach die Psyche der Menschen zu zerstören aus meiner Sicht.
What else should you know about torture? Torture is meant to create stress. Any event that threatens to change the stability of people's well-being, environmental, physical, mental or emotional, is stressful.
So damn.
Why is this important? Because this is precisely what our governments and so-called health institutions have been inflicting systematically upon humanity. Stress. Stress not only affects your immune system, making you extra vulnerable to diseases, it also generates anxiety, which triggers the inability to think straight, to remain calm, logical, and rational. That's why people stopped seeing how insane the COVID rules and regulations really were.
This is written in the playbook of war tactics. Torture.
You cannot blame them. Please stop calling them sheep, for truly, they are victims of torture. They have been suppressed, humiliated, brainwashed, and broken.
It's a positive lens.
When acute stress becomes chronic stress by the intentional systematic weakening of people, people develop feelings of pessimism and depression. But when people who are in a state of chronic stress and anxiety suddenly are exposed to acute stress, for instance, the unexpected positive outcome of a test resulting in mandatory quarantine, something strange happens. Chronic stress plus acute stress causes a condition of total denial.
Wow.
Those people will appear to switch off all awareness. They will look bland and untroubled, as if the mind, being too overstimulated, blew a fuse.
Oh my God.
They will completely give up. Give in. Comply. So yes, this is true. It wasn't the virus that destroyed the economy. It was you complying with tyranny.
Well said.
But can we blame them? Now that we know they had been systematically tortured for a long period of time, and they just acted like most people under those circumstances would do?
Such a great point, Janet.
This is why people complied to the most insane rules. And even when you pointed this out to them, they would look at you like you were from another planet.
Right.
In Spain, people were forced to wear a mask outdoors, but not in the Netherlands, where for some mysterious reason, the virus never left the house. At least not until months later, and only in certain places.
Wow.
A hairdresser was allowed to go to a physiotherapist, but the physiotherapist was not allowed to go to the hairdresser.
Interesting. It's only their
Our
manipulation
torturers,
tactics only work to a degree in certain countries. It's incredible, isn't it? And I like this angle Janet is gifting us, because yeah, right from their playbook, it helps gain bigger perspective and empathy for individuals, more likely to show up in more effective ways and breaking through to them and help plant seeds of truth.
Governments had confused people to the point that their minds had blown a fuse.
Wow.
Therefore, they complied. As soon as the media shouted off the rooftops that borders had been closed, people stopped traveling. True, at the beginning, and in some countries, enforcements were strict. But after a while, upon learning that we, the people, complied beautifully in this great behavioral experiment, enforcements were no longer necessary. In the Netherlands, there were never any checkup points, not even at the beginning. People stopped traveling, just like that. They didn't even try anymore. We did try, time and again. We drove from the Netherlands to Germany and Belgium and back again. No problem at all. It was just a narrative. It was a lie. At the time of curfews in every European country, we left the Netherlands for good, and we drove all the way through Belgium, France, and Spain. We drove in the middle of the night on empty highways. There were no checkup points. Not at the borders, nor at the toll gates. It was all a lie. The police didn't have to do anything because the people obeyed the rules, no matter how insane. It seemed to be crystal clear to people that curfews were highly efficient when it comes to restraining a killer virus. In the Netherlands, at 9 p.m. sharp, for some reason the virus became super aggressive, so everybody had to stay indoors. Safe at 1 minute to 9, in mortal danger at 9 sharp.
Wow.
Except, of course, when you lived just across the border in Belgium. There you were safe until midnight.
Oh my God.
COVID-19 was not to be underestimated. It was highly intelligent and could obviously tell time. Not only that, it understood and acknowledged country borders. And it seemed to like alcohol. And so, the sales of wine, beer and spirits was only allowed until 8 p.m. sharp. God knows why. We asked countless shop owners and police officers if they understood the logic behind these new rules, but no one could. All we heard was, it's the law. When we pointed out that the genocide on the Jewish people in World War II was lawful too, and so not all laws are good, people got angry. Together we can beat COVID-19. The slogan was to become the new Heil Hitler. But most people didn't see it, as a result of continuously being tortured into obedience by their suppressors. Why do some people respond differently? Why can...
It's all, oh my gosh, it all boils down to the control over the information. That's why the censorship is still so dangerous. So many. It's beyond COVID. We got to end that tyranny. TikTok, hands down, is the worst of them. And it's not due to China. It's due to the World Economic Forum and the Cabal. Tear down the Cabal, all this is going to go away. I mean, we could take it one little war tactic, push evil back at a time, or we could just go after the freaking head of the snake. Sign me up. If I had enough if I had enough support, if we blew this up to where we can consolidate voices profoundly enough and collectively do calls to action, that would do it. Or just simply fund Unmuzzled Chat to show up on the front lines and make things happen. If we got to assemble a militia of individuals to gain favor out of political figures, sheriff departments, even military branches, to go directly after certain individuals, will help us achieve that. I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm not going to let this little injury slow me down. What's slowing me down is the lack of support. Frankly, it's like this happened to all of us. I know you guys care, but can we break through and share this to get others on board? Let's try.
Can they handle continuous stress better than others, so they do not comply no matter what? People are wired differently. Some have experienced grave physical or emotional pain in their lives, which makes them not easily impressed. They simply do not experience the COVID torture as particularly stressful, as they've had worse. Others are more mentally focused than emotionally. They will see through the lies and threats more easily than others, and therefore they will not experience anxiety to the extent most people do. And then, of course, there are those who live off the grid, in remote areas. People who do not watch TV and who do not read mainstream newspapers. Those people, too, are difficult to brainwash. Most people had no idea they were being tortured. After all, there wasn't any waterboarding or the cutting off of fingers, right? True. But it was still torture, by definition. And as we know by now, most people complied. The ones who did not comply were corrected by the obedient ones.
Yeah.
They were ridiculed, shamed and blamed, and turned into outcasts.
Time to start blaming. Blame the unvaccinated. Wow. I'm not here to even demonize those that took that stance. I embrace you. Let's just wake up and see the reality of what took place together and go against our real oppressors. Because this could be used as a divisive tactic, which it kind of has become. And now we can't even have real discussions as to their solutions to this scam and what that has led to. Deaths, creating division in families, friends, communities, churches, the whole nine. Wow.
The mainstream media spread lie after lie after lie.
Yeah.
Photos from one hospital were used for other places, other countries.
Janet, you're amazing. Guys, let's blow up all this evidence.
Crisis actors were deployed, as shown in part 21.
Let's share this to the moon. Let's get it out there. Get people on this live even right now and continually share this after. We got to get more people tapped into not just the sequel, but the original 10-part series. We've gone through it all and we've shared every single link. That is a huge part of holding ourselves accountable and taking our roles seriously in this era we live in.
If I got the vaccine, I probably wouldn't be in this mess, so yeah.
If I'd got the vaccine, I probably wouldn't be in this mess, so yeah. Get the vaccine.
Get the vaccine.
Unbelievable. What's this showing here? Oh, Academy Award-winning crisis actor. Interesting. Wow. The deceit.
Entire crisis scenarios were staged to deceive the people and spark their fear.
Oh my gosh. Look. They're filming. They got a sound boom. Ready? And then they probably use that in the news. People are dying from COVID. Stay at home. Lock grandma in the basement. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? What news coverage did that?
COVID-19 was not a killer virus.
Wow.
It was a fraud.
100%.
The mainstream media was the virus. Without its help, it would never have worked.
Yep.
It simply got to the point where people had been successfully tortured and brainwashed. Taken over, so to speak.
We've all
When the
fallen
CDC
prey.
finally admitted the nose swabs have been
Not
used for
just-
genomic sequencing, it was
Ooh.
too late. When the German health minister stated the COVID restrictions for the unvaccinated have been based on a software error, it was too late.
See, this is the
When a
blessing.
German hospital director took his own life because he couldn't live with the lies anymore, it was too late.
It's the blessing of the pandemic because it's not just the programming that took place and the war tactics and threats. Oh man, what torture tactics, right? The programming has been happening for generations. It's been happening for all other narratives. So that's why I view this scamdemic as a smoking gun, because once you gain the proper discernment on all this manipulation, then you understand, whoa, these are the same talking heads that lied to us over 9/11. These are the same talking heads that just filled us full of the cabal's crap. Come on, Janet, let's be real. Janet exposes it beautifully and brings all the receipts. I applaud you.
It didn't matter anymore that Moderna openly admitted people were being vaccinated with an operating system.
Right.
Nor that Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca all had criminal histories.
Criminal. Look at this. $2.3 billion settlement. Civil and criminal. The largest payouts ever. And yet their business model, it was still in the green. We didn't shut them down. And they became the savior of the scam. Yes, their torture tactics were very, very effective.
It didn't seem to matter anymore that both Moderna and Johnson & Johnson had no past track records making vaccines.
Really?
Nobody seemed to be listening when scientific evidence was presented that all the so-called vaccines contained HIV.
For those of you who have taken the third dose, go and take a test for AIDS. The outcome may surprise you. Then sue your government. Doctor, can't pronounce it. Just before his sudden death. Get out of here. She's exposed hundreds of individuals that have blown the whistle and got murdered. Janet herself is no longer with us, folks, because what she gifted us right here. I know she didn't commit suicide strictly due to she's on the same path I'm on right now. And it goes against everything, all this energy, all this research, all the receipts. No, no, we would be lying to ourselves, just like Safe and Effective, just like, oh yeah, COVID. To even say I have COVID at this point, or I had COVID, you're wording into the propaganda, because define COVID as Janet has exposed. They haven't isolated COVID in the wild. Once again, the PCR testing is what stood this up with the lies in the propaganda machine, the war machine, the information machine, the censorship, the controlled social medias, all of it. Because if you can't isolate it in the wild and you have a defective negative efficacy test, it's fabricated. It's something else we dealt with. The cold didn't go away. The flu didn't go away. Influenza didn't go away. Okay. That's a big portion of it. Now, do I genuinely feel something else kind of happened during this time? I do. But I would point more towards what they were spraying in our skies, what they potentially put in our food, what they potentially put in our water, the actual 5G installation. There's no coincidence that early pandemic, they went rampant on the installation of all that frequency stuff, like that clearly we all can see had no impact, absolutely no impact on our cellular connectivity in speeds. So what is it? Well, we've gone over proof on that, but let's continue. Janet, bless you, hon. We miss you, we love you, and appreciate all your hard work.
And that many vaccinated people suddenly had become magnetic.
Oh my gosh.
Where was the outrage when the official numbers showed us that more people had died from the COVID jab in the first 3 months of 2021 than of all vaccines of the past 30 years combined?
Absorb that. Is that still a statistic that people don't know of, that haven't absorbed? You know, there have been jabs that were pulled immediately. Lyme disease was one of them. Within weeks of being rolled out due to just minor adverse effects. There's been ones after 5 reported deaths. Boom, they got pulled. How is it they have immunity and they're still on shelves when this has, by the VAERS reporting system itself, killed them more than triple of all other vaccines rolled out throughout human history combined since they even started recording vaccine injuries? And yet again, that's even by many studies actually accounting for less than 1% of the real deaths and the real injuries. They're not adverse effects. They're intended consequences. This is biological warfare. You combine this with the vaccine salesman, aka Bill Gates, with his TED Talk talking about, hey, if we do a really good job at health services, which means something to us, but it's not fulfilling what it means to us when he states health services and vaccinations, it will lower the world population by 10 or 15%. That is not health services. That doesn't meet the definition of a vaccine in our eyes, in our minds. How can we hear that and now it be so disconnected we can't attribute what took place and the actual numbers to fulfilling what he stated, which is murder. It's genocide. It's not care. It's not health. It's not vaccinations. It's biological warfare. Let's be real. Time to rip the muzzles off. Time to face reality and come to terms with that so we can actually properly address it, because there's been no accountability. And I'm sorry, these dang companies do not have immunity. They don't. We can step forward. Who our government gave him that? All right, well, government, we're going to address you and also address these companies, because we are not going to tolerate this unacceptable, egregious outcome. And we're going to lock up Bill Gates. We're going to try him for crimes against humanity. Fauci, the whole lot of them. Let's go. No more messing around. Help me achieve this. I am on fire for this. I want to do it for the children. I want to do it for your futures. Donate. Fire us up. If you don't have any funds, then just simply do what you can by sharing this very message. But it's no secret that funds end up a means to an end. And it makes me sick genuinely asking for that. I would rather organically have the proper support and momentum to go after this evil in this existence, but it's kind of not happening because all the algorithms, all the censorship, even on Rumble, it seems as though there's algorithms. Yes, it's a gift. We're able to be unmuzzled, however, and put up stuff. However, as this live is going, find us on the homepage. Is Unmuzzled Chat even streaming live on the homepage of Rumble? This is something I even asked them recently, and I have yet to get a response. That becomes quite alarming and scary. So it's an uphill battle on getting that momentum. But with financial support, we can get experts engaged in marketing. And more than that, we can actually start taking action, building out web pages that end up hubs that we could go to. It would be nice to not just have the infrastructure built out for state officials, state by state, where people could simply go and, yes, I want to send this demand letter to the governor, to the senator, to all the state officials. But more than sending it, we need a register. We need to actually see how many, create basically an accounting for what is being sent, how much of it is it being sent to these individuals, because now with that information, boy, we could unleash the hounds. Someone with a few $1 million under their couch cushion could get us, and now we'll create that and unleash the freaking hounds. So let's go. This is how we secure our future. This is how we secure our health, our kids. I mean, it's everything. We've more so, and I'm guilty, projected as though we love our families and all these individuals and we're willing to die for them, than actually fulfilling it. These are real threats, real life threats. And it's continuing. For frick's sakes, this shot is still available on shelves. Worse things are coming because we haven't held the cabal accountable. That's not if, it's when, and that's a freaking guarantee. So, I mean, it's everyone's choice, but I'm sure telling you, if we don't take this moment in time serious enough, because this is what it is. These things are perpetually continuing, aka the vax still on the shelf. The bioweapon, known as COVID-19 shot, still on the shelf, still being advertised. Oh, come get your flu/COVID shot. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That in and of itself says what to us? Not enough of us have woken up and gotten engaged, or not enough of us in the know have gotten amped up and are doing enough to push back and put an end to that. How is it historically shots get taken out for 4 reported deaths, and there's thousands, literally millions, that are getting swept under the rug, but yet it's still available? Come on, let's go. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's go. Rip them muzzles off.
There was no outrage, except of course amongst the dissidents. Nobody else seemed to notice or care about the countless scandals. Moderna knew about hundreds of thousands of injuries as a result of their product, but kept their mouths shut.
No mouth shut. Let's get more people into this live. Let's get more engagement. Smash that like button. That actually helps more viewership. Just think about it. Herd mentality. If there's a video right here with 1 like, and there's a video over here with 100 likes, similar title or whatever, just you're more than likely going to click the one with the more likes. So let's create that momentum together. If you see any value to what we're trying to actually present here, then smash that like button. Engage in maybe this live chat, or more importantly, comments that will stick and add your input. Maybe biblical references, how this is spiritual warfare, how maybe other things like the momentum RFK's building, sounding the alarm on health and childhood vaccines, things of that nature. It's a communal effort. Let's go.
Pfizer paid the US Department of Treasury $2.9 million to, well, probably to make sure that their vaccine safety data would be kept a secret by the FDA
right.
for 75 years.
Come on.
We're talking thousands of pages of documents the FDA relied on to license the Pfizer vaccine.
All of them haven't been released yet. Enough that it blows holes in the masks science, that there was follow the science, but it blows holes their own reporting. It blows holes in their vaccine, shows over 1,000 deaths in their pre-run. Unbelievable. And there's a reason why they wanted that secrecy. And they had it for long enough to continue enough momentum that has led to so much suffering and death. There's no immunity. Let's hold them freaking accountable. And if you got a loved one like I do that has died and is suffering from this shot, I don't care about, I mean, here we're going to be unmuzzled. There are people under the delusion that they won't even tolerate that conversation. It's like, let's shift the paradigm, okay, where enough of us are that they can't stay in that bubble, that they're going to start being inquisitive because everyone is exposing the truth around them. They can't, fingers in ears. Are you kidding me? We can shift that paradigm. Let's get loud. Oh, this drives me nuts. There's no immunity.
The FDA simply refused to share them with the public. Nobody seemed to notice when, in yet another court case, in which a federal judge ruled the FDA got 8 months instead of 75 years to make Pfizer's vaccine safety data available to the public, that Pfizer frantically tried to intervene and changed the outcome. When Pfizer finally released a list of adverse reactions to their monstrosity of a product,
9 pages.
It contained 1,291 illnesses, many of which severe, even lethal.
Boom.
But where was the outrage?
Right.
People have been tortured and brainwashed to the point of lining up for yet another shot and a booster.
Right.
The ingredient list of the Johnson & Johnson jab turned out to be huge. And, well, blank.
Come on. Look at this. Come on. That in and of itself is proof of what? I could pull up Nuremberg Code. There's no informed consent. None. And we can prove that this was not an FDA-approved shot, which we have done, which John from the Forgotten Soldiers plugged that podcast. He's freaking amazing, and he's bringing warriors that either, yes, fell to the tyrannical, I mean, you could only imagine the positions, the tyranny they faced in the armed forces was something next level than any of us really experienced on the civilian. So they have whistleblowers from ones that have gotten it, and then so many morally upright men that stood against this. And what happened to them? They got the boot. We got all the evidence we need. It's all right before us. In fact, it's laid out here beautifully through the 10-part original series and the sequel of this Fall of the Cabal. This is all we need. This is all the receipts we need. We could submit this evidence right here in a court of law. In fact, we don't even need that. We could do civil tribunals to these freaking Cabalists, if that's a word, or military. We could demand it. There's nowhere they can hide. Let's go. Let's not let Janet's death be in vain.
Still, people held out their arms. Voluntarily, yes.
Blank.
But not with informed consent.
Are we absorbing? She just pulled this out of the dang box. Blank. Never has that ever happened. And we're just accepting it due to the fear porn that they ramped up in the lies and the true propaganda. And you couldn't go against that with actual facts. This doctor, this video would be censored. Come on. Playtime's over. Cutesy time's over, is like Dan Bongino would say. But even Dan, he's exposing some things. He's too caught up in the politics. He's not seeing the real big picture of the warfare and calling the actual head of the snake and who's really the puppeteers in control over all of this. So as amazing as I want to say he's doing for free speech in certain things, he's leading a lot of people astray from the big picture.
Nobody was ever informed.
No one.
When EU Parliament members demanded to see the official contract between the vaccine-producing companies and the EU, all they got was censorship.
Right.
We have all these treaties, as my colleague said, that no medical treatment should be imposed on you unless you decide about it freely and under informed consent. Ask your own government. Were you properly informed about what is going on? We demanded full access to the contracts signed between these companies that produce the vaccines and the European Union. And I will just show you the pages. These are the pages.
Oh my gosh. Unacceptable. What?
So
Unacceptable.
This is a fundamental principle, right, of democracy. I'm asking you guys, is this transparency? Do you see anything? Because we don't.
Wow.
Nobody seemed to find it strange that people of importance, royal families, diplomats, heads of state, and highly placed politicians were exempt from face masks, nose swabs, PCR tests, and vaccinations. Oh, some of them did play along in front of the cameras, but all you had to do was zoom in to see it was all fake.
Watch. The freaking cap isn't even off the needle. The cap isn't off the needle. Come on, guys. Through the shirt. Wow. Oh.
It didn't matter anymore. It was too late. When people started dying of the jab, not one insurance company paid compensation. They simply stated that when you hold out your arm to receive the jab, knowing it's an experimental one, after all, you...
Wait, what? Like, what? Absorb that. We can hold those insurance This single-handedly... I'm so ramped up, I don't even know. Could I even state my own name without tripping up? I don't know. This single-handedly could lead to the biggest payout of your life. Okay? Let's support one another. Actually, reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com if you got anyone suffering, okay, or that has died. Let's unify around them. Let's magnify. Let's ask for legal to reach out. And there's so many different angles. Even if we got to get wins on the misinformation, we got all the proof of that, and the not proper consent, we'll move. We'll gain momentum where we can. And then inevitably, it would just be great to see enough momentum that we could go straight to these companies, straight to the cabal. Let's shoot for the moon. Let's do that. Can we do that together? Can you share this with as many people as you know? Are you too afraid to post this on your social media because individuals, you're afraid as to what they're going to say? What does it matter? War is being waged. We are far past that. So let's be honest with ourselves. We're either, with a lack of action, allowing this to perpetually continue. Let's be honest. Or we are willing to post, come what may. Hey, I found some of the things this very charged individual had to say pretty interesting, to say the least. If one of your family members, how dare you? I got that shot. How dare you post something like that? I don't want to come to terms with my decision. I just want to stay ignorant. Well, okay. Well, I didn't mean to trigger you. I found some things interesting. We can still love one another. Settle down. We're cool. Let's quit kidding ourselves and do everything we can. Start reaching over to your friends' phones, downloading the Rumble app. At minimum, do that. If you have the kahunas to download it and follow Unmuzzled Chat, boom, let's go. That's going to be building the momentum we need to actually see the day of accountability. Extreme accountability.
You could have known the dangers if only you had done your homework. It made your death a suicide by definition.
Suicide. Because you chose to get a shot that killed you. That is what your insurance, the conclusion they came to. What? Yeah. Absorb that. Wow.
The court recognizes the classification of the insurer, who, in view of the announced side effects, including death, legally regards participation in the Phase 3 experiment, whose proven harmlessness is not given, as voluntarily taking a fatal risk that is not covered by the contract and legally recognized as suicide.
Wow.
The producers of the jabs could not be held accountable. They were exempt by law. The people had been paralyzed by constant fear and constant stress. They could not hear the truth anymore when top physicians and ex-CEOs of big pharma companies stepped forward and blew the lid off the various missing cases fraud.
Oh, Janet, thank you. Wow. Over 10,000 COVID-19 claims removed from VAERS. 500 death reports, deleted claims, data analysis. Unbelievable. Once again, proof as to why their VAERS isn't even near the actual numbers. Wow. More reports.
When they explained that only 1% of adverse reactions or deaths were being reported. When more and more severe cases of fraud were exposed.
More fraud. How is this not? How is this not everything we need for class action lawsuits? How is this not? With the right momentum and voices behind it, this is everything we need to imprison and completely deconstruct the cabal. Could you imagine these individuals, these few families, trillions of dollars? We could redistribute and build out infrastructure to protect us in ways we can't even fathom. We could flourish as well as we have it now with all our technological advances. World hunger would be ended. Clean water wouldn't be a problem. Clean air wouldn't be a problem. Healthy food would not be a problem. No more centralization. More empowerment to like the individual farmer. Unbelievable what we could achieve just by seeing the fall of the cabal. Janet.
When the real efficacy of the jabs turned out to be only 1%, as our bribed specialists had concealed the difference between absolute risk reduction and relative risk reduction,
wow.
Meaning one still has a 99% chance of catching COVID after being vaccinated, so why bother at all? And please let's not forget, we're talking a 1% risk reduction for a virus with an overall survival rate of 99.86%.
There was no risk reduction at all. If anything, that 1% of risk reduction was because the people that died could no longer get their fake COVID. Come on.
When the dissidents showed the people that the definition of vaccine had been quietly changed in order to make bioweapons look like vaccines. When certified scientists showed the presence of Morgellons, unknown nanoparticles, and of graphene oxide that turns you into a superconductor for electromagnetic frequencies.
See, this is the danger of censorship and misinformation and conspiracy theories, because they denied all these things. But when it got proven, no apologies, no retractions on their remarks as conspiracy and lie. There's no accountability for evil unless we ourselves see that day. Let's go. Let's get it.
Which basically means that you become a product.
Wow.
And a great big antenna for any kind of dangerous radiation.
Have you guys seen that? Bluetooth? Unbelievable. The dead were even emitting Bluetooth. Yeah, right here. Scanning a cemetery for vaccinated deceased people. There's even more video footage that like indisputably proves this. Boom.
When all the prominent virologists bluntly stated they were convinced everybody who took the jab would die between now and 2 to 3 years max. As they explained in layman's terms about antibody-dependent enhancement and the fact that your body will no longer recognize foreign invaders like other viruses, destroying your own immune system so that it...
Well, luckily, not every shot had the bioweapon in it. Proven, a lot of the batches, they couldn't create the bioweapon fast enough, and whether it was actual targeting of certain areas is to be argued. But certain batches had saline solutions and not the bioweapon. So not everyone that got a shot obviously is in harm due to that fact. But
it will eventually attack you and kill you, it was too late. This deliberate design torture program had turned out to be a massive success. Do you want to know what happened next? Then follow me to part 26.
Let's go, guys. 26. The end. Why is it the end? It wouldn't be. There probably would be sequels on sequels up to 50. Maybe this would have just continued. We'd probably be at 70. Janet was on fire and continuing, and they had to stop her because it was blowing up enough. She does such fantastic work and did such fantastic work. She was exposing. There were individuals that got murdered for less than what she was exposing. But once it got big enough, the thing is, I'm not fearful they take me out. Like, pick up the reins, continue. Because at this point, with free speech and more platforms that we're able to share information like this, there is less threat to a degree on individual levels with that type of momentum. Anyway, the last episode, once again, I'm going to dive into what I could find more specifically on her death, on additional documentaries, maybe books, literature, web pages, anything else Janet and am I saying that? Cynthia? Here, we're engaged in. Heck, I even want to reach out and see if she'll guest on the platform and speak out on the situation and what she knows. But let's dive in, folks. Enjoy her last episode. It's a damn shame that she's no longer with us. Let's pick up the slack and not let her death be in vain. And continually get more people on this live. Can it get worse? It sure can. Let's not waste any time and proceed with the last episode about the COVID scam. This final part will give you the ultimate helicopter view of what we are dealing with here. Buckle up and join us even further down the rabbit hole. I love the rabbit hole analogy to an extent, but come on, let's be real. You're actually coming out of the cave and the rabbit hole that they created, the indoctrination and manipulation and programming, and you're stepping out into the real world, seeing 360 view, big world picture, clear lens. You're not stuck in a rabbit hole. Let's open eyes and hearts to what's really going on. It's to our benefit.
The Cabal's torture strategy had worked brilliantly. People had become lethargic. Many had altered personalities according to their loved ones. Others had turned into zombies. Was that what the CDC had warned us about on their website?
To this day.
The zombie apocalypse?
Let me ask this. Why did they censor on TikTok, once again? All I did was post Yuval Harari, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab's puppet, stating humans are now hackable animals. That's all I posted. And it got taken down. No label to it, no nothing. It just got taken down. Why? They don't want us to understand that they know through information and all this other war tactics, they can more so hack us into a zombie-like state, a robotic-like state. They can influence us I mean, look at what they were able to do with just the information for a pandemic, a scam. Come on, the world death clock didn't go up during COVID, okay? Never throughout human history did motorcyclists that got hit by a semi-truck get labeled as a cold or flu death. It was ran over by a semi-truck on a motorcycle, like, yeah, just death. But, oh, he had COVID, it's a COVID death. Come on, let's be real.
People simply didn't hear the warnings. They couldn't see right from wrong anymore. They were in a state of brain fog and confusion in which the sudden insane amount of cases of thrombosis, pulmonary embolisms, strokes, and serious heart problems simply went by unnoticed. Top sportsmen had acute heart failure and dropped to the ground.
Do you know this? It was never more than 10. The average was 5 per year. And, you know, they pushed their systems and they might have been eating burgers. They might have had, who knows? But out of our top tier athletes, never more than 10 historically. So within, what was it? It wasn't even a year of the first vaccine rollout. It impacted our world athletes in the thousands within the first year, to where it was more than the past 38 years. Absorb that. Real statistic, real facts. Guys, come on. This is Janet's last episode. Let's get as many people as we can on this live. Maximize her amazing work here. This breaks my heart. This is genocide. This is murder, folks. We owe it to the murdered. We owe it to them. Let's go. Come on. The healthiest among us. Youth 24, 29. Come on. What does that say? System, medium, politics, puzzle. Oh, they're puzzled on what could be different. What's causing this? No, we're not puzzled. We know specifically what caused this and what's causing so many other things. Turbo cancers, immune issues, neurological issues, obviously strokes, myocarditis, heart issues. Unbelievable.
News anchors collapse live on TV.
How much more evidence do we need? Could also get a combination of videos of these responses after people got shots. The same reaction happening to people just getting the shots. Let's stop lying to ourselves. We are at war, folks. Golly, it breaks my heart.
Doctors and nurses died by the dozens.
2 weeks after
Pilots got unwell in midair due to blood clots.
Right.
Planes came crashing down from the sky.
Holy smokes.
Se savent bien.
Wow.
Mi homme et mi baron. Anglois, Normand, Poitevin et Gascon.
Right there. Yes. There's airline pilots that have been whistleblowing. And right here, listen to this man's story, Bob Snow, and decide for yourself if it's still safe to fly, because we haven't addressed this issue. A lot of pilots, they've moved the needle on, no pun intended, on the actual protocols, because prior to the pandemic, there were regular health checks for like this infrastructure built out to ensure the safety of the public, but they've moved that drastically because otherwise it would have exposed the tyranny they imposed on their pilots and the harm they caused, and potentially evoke all this lawsuit or maybe even a strike and now a mass awakening. So they had to move the goalpost in a huge way. I forget the specifics on it, but a lot of these pilots have talked out on it. Wow. Every angle. Janet, does you help us pick up the slack, because she's no longer with us. Why? She was murdered. She didn't kill herself. She was murdered by the cabal. Guarantee that.
On November 7th, I was mandated to receive a vaccine. Quite literally, I was told if I did not receive the vaccination, I would be fired. This was from our director of flight. So, under duress, I received the vaccine. Now, just a few days ago, after landing in Dallas, 6 minutes after we landed, I passed out. I coded. I required 3 shocks. I need to be intubated. I'm now in the ICU in Dallas. This is what the vaccine has done for me. I will probably never fly again. I was hoping to teach my daughter to fly. She wants to be a pilot. That will probably never happen. All courtesy of the vaccine. This is unacceptable.
Yes.
And I am one of the victims.
I'm sorry, man.
That this is the actual result of the vaccine for some of us.
Thank you for
Mandatory,
speaking up.
No questions asked. Get the shot or you're fired. This is not the American way.
Right. Wow. Well said.
There is a big elephant in the cockpit now, and that is the risk that has been induced by allowing these vaccinations into crew. They have a rule that they have broken across the country with every pilot that's flying who is vaccinated. And that rule is that no air crew member is allowed to fly with a drug in their system that is less than 12 months from approval date.
Boom.
And we well know that the COVID-19 novel injections are under an emergency use authorization in the United States, so they are not approved. And the reason that they allow a 1-year timeframe from approval is so that they can see if there's any effects on passengers in the cabin from reduced atmospheric conditions at altitude. So it's an important step that they have completely ignored, and they have violated their own regulations.
That's the goalpost moving, violating their own regulations. This breaks my heart. What else is it going to take for us to, like, how bad does it got to get on a personal level to flip that switch, to do the level of hold ourselves accountable at the level we must with this level of warfare? Come on, I'm facing Lyme disease. I have neurological issues, and it's really hard to even formulate the words in the appropriate, let's say, order to have maximum impact. I'm relying on the community and you to help assist in gaining that momentum in whatever means necessary, whether it's financial donations, whether it's sharing on mega platforms, tapping your buddy on a shoulder that's got 1 million followers and being like, dude, get this on there, or guesting on the platform yourself and filling the gaps I struggle to communicate. Like, what am I doing here? I mean, I'm over a year into this, and it's not about me. It's not about even a muzzled chat. It's about God and fulfilling our purpose in this life. Living in love for our family members, our strangers, neighbors. Frick the division. Frick everything else evil has done with this war machine. Racial division. Come on. In this century, now, you are a racist in what you're trying to create in your speech. We all bleed the same blood. It's that perpetual narrative that's continuing that type of divide. And it's disgusting. And I see through it. And we must stand firm on the truth and speak what they are fulfilling. That's the type of poison Kamala was spewing. Does it? Do I mean Republicans are savior? No. The majority of them have taken money from the cabal and pushed their narrative. It's bigger than politics. It's bigger than a presidential seat. It's where we all have to get more engaged if, in fact, we want to ensure security tomorrow for our children and family. Otherwise, you're rolling the dice as to whether political is going to have any impact or not. Let's actually seize this moment in time and why we were put here. We can't just, you see why I state it's delusional, utterly delusional to go back to a life of normacy without addressing these things. How is it not? I mean, after everything we've just now seen on this singular episode, how is it not? Let's continue. Let's embed the reality and come to terms with things on such a level that we create momentum to see real results, real solutions. I don't want to just sit here and be gabbing. Let's gain real results together. That's what it's about. Let's continue to bring people into this life. I'm sure Janet's going to hit it out of the park. More truth bombs to be had. Let's go.
The amount of miscarriages increased dramatically.
Oh my gosh. Another form of population control. Come on now. .74% of vaccinated pregnant women suffer a miscarriage. Normal average is 10%. Guys, that is horrifying. This was the end of his career. He lost his license was it due to the, maybe I need to read it all, refusing the jab or sharing these statistics? Come on. These are the type of doctors we need in the position they earned, not the ones that fell to the tyrannical orders and box they were put in that infringed not just on obviously Nuremberg, but infringed on their Hippocratic oath. They would no longer practice medicine. They just followed orders, administered bioweapon shots. With true accountability, I'd venture to say a lot of these doctors would actually go down for crimes against humanity. 100%. Some of them would probably slide under some form of ignorance, not knowing. It'd be a tough one to land on a proper outcome. But the majority of them should lose their license 100%. That on the flip side of doctors like this.
People suddenly started emitting electromagnetic frequencies and radioactivity.
Interesting. Wow.
Wow. You're now a transmitter.
coroners were shocked and horrified by the amount of children brought in after getting the jab.
There are more babies dying now than ever, and the only thing they have in common is their mums were vaccinated.
They showed nauseating footage of massive blood clots and destroyed veins and arteries.
He died suddenly on the Stu Peters network? Come on, no one can live with that type of clotting in their veins. And most of these were like just sudden death, undetermined. Too many of our loved ones were not even getting biopsies.
The big one came out of the vein. The small one came out of the iliac artery itself.
Unbelievable. Or autopsies.
But all the people heard was the ever-repeating slogan, "The COVID vaccines are safe and effective."
Right.
Don't worry, all of the above never happened. It was just disinformation spread by conspiracy theorists, by doctors, virologists, Nobel Prize winners, even by the inventor of mRNA vaccines.
Even
They
by
are
the
all
inventor.
spreading disinformation.
Right.
The COVID vaccines are safe and effective. Why all those sudden deaths? Well, many people die nowadays of a new disease called SADS, Sudden Adult Death Syndrome.
Never
We know it hardly existed before the vaccination started.
Never existed
but
before.
it is not the result of them.
Unbelievable.
The COVID vaccines are safe and effective. Here are some official explanations of the countless heart attacks.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Belly of Tea. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down, oh blow me bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpoon and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed, and the captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whale's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Folks, is this it? Is this the smoking gun? Is this the epic episode, the singular seed we need to plant to finally drive that nail in the coffin is to the COVID BS narrative and their solution? I mean, do we need to integrate Dr. McCullough talking about this being a bioweapon? Do we need to integrate Bill Gates stating if we do really good job through health services and vaccinations, we can lower the world population by 10 or 15%? Is that going to drive this point home? Is this the singular episode? We just ask our loved ones that still believe the false, safe and effective narrative. Totally false. Totally. That's a propaganda. That's the lie. Think about it. Especially Christians. Everything from our loving creator is free agency. Everything of the devil is under love, under the guise of love, under the guise of safe and effective. What? Taking away your free agency. How clear? So is this, in fact, all we need? This singular episode, we put that link in our pocket. We go to those funerals. We go into those hospitals or by the bedside of those that are fighting tooth and nail to survive. The outcome of this shot is singularly what we share with those individuals to open their eyes. How can they deny all the evidence, all this data? This should spark within anyone still any rational thinking left within their body, any critical thinking skills left, you know what? I best get on free speech platforms to really research. I'm willing now to come to terms with what took place. I get it is difficult if you got coerced and manipulated into getting this thing to come to terms that, yeah, this could have been a bad decision. I mean, I get that it would even be harder for a loving parent to come to terms, whether it's a childhood vaccine schedule, whether it's a flu shot, whether it's this shot or any of its boosters that you took your child in to get, that it could potentially be causing harm. But there is good news. There are doctors actually creating and coming up with great solutions to breathing life and health back into individuals that have had many of any of these shots. So why would you deny yourself that information to your own detriment just because your pride and ego won't allow you? You can't do wrong. Your shiz doesn't stink. Really? That's why I say let's not be insane and project as though we love and fulfill love. Because what, at the end of the day, we want to see our kids flourish. We want to see them healthy. We want to protect them. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Let's not allow our mistakes to get between fulfilling what is in the best interest and best health of our children. Let this be the smoking gun. Add your input. Heck, even if it's this episode minus my input, share that. If you see value to my input, well, then share this very episode. Let's continue.
Let's be honest. All of these warnings are insane. Hot weather, cold weather, having sex, drinking tea. Seriously? Why didn't that kill us before? But what would you do if you were handing out poison jabs and people started dropping like flies? Wouldn't you deploy your media outlets to spread these kinds of warnings? Hoping people would continue believing your narrative? Desperately hoping that if you repeat the lie often enough, you'll get away with it?
Wow. Come on.
And let's hand it to them.
We've known this.
The COVID pandemic was a massive success.
Yep.
Apart from
For the
some
Cabal.
dissidents, the people were ready and seemed even happy to be enslaved. They were ready for the next level.
Oh my gosh.
Just like it read on the official website of the World Economic Forum.
We're so malleable because Hollywood and our idols are false idols that we shouldn't have in this life. But like God warns us not to have false idols. Gosh, we even have shows called American Idol. And yes, it seems all innocent, but it's having a psychological impact to where we actually idol these individuals. And they used them, bribed them, paid them to speak to us. I mean, Schwarzenegger, frick your freedoms. Get the shot. Really? Frick Arnold Schwarzenegger and anyone that took that stance. Whether they were indoctrinated and believed that this was the right thing. Dude, you're taking away people's freedom? Really? In this country? As a foreigner? Well, now a citizen, supposedly? I say we deport his ass. Pardon my French. I genuinely don't like cursing. We really want to protect ourselves. My gosh. If people won't retract that, they have no business being in a free country, in America. That would help kind of fix things here. Then we could be a beacon and an example for the rest of the world when things start flourishing here. Then we might get apologies. Come on, let's go. Let's expose the tyranny. Let's expose the reality of the real tyranny. I cannot believe it. It's pinched me. Even with memory issues, neurological issues with Lyme. I mean, my heart goes out to the neurological issues people are having with the shots. But even with that, I can reflect back. It's crazy. I could see all this play out. We saw it all play out. Janet, you are a warrior. Let's be real. They murdered her for exposing what she had. Let's pick up the slack. I know I'm repetitive, but let's be real. We haven't seen the proper accountability and proper outcomes. For frick sakes. This shot is still available. This murderous bioweapon shot is still on shelves. We should be walking into every dang Walmart pharmacy, CVS, Albertsons. It doesn't even matter. We should be walking into every pharmacy without any fear. Printed out the Nuremberg Code. Slapping that down, video in the counter, just stating, hey, pharmacy, I just want you to, like, I'm video recording this. You consider yourself now served if you guys continue administering the COVID shot from here on out. You yourself could be complicit to crimes against humanity. Just letting you know. Why am I doing this? Because I don't want to see this shot go into any more innocent lives. Children, anyone. Just in doing that en masse could save so many people. And kind of show the cabal, you're in trouble. We're unifying. We're going against your war tactics. We're not standing it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. And whatever you have next, we will shut down. And in fact, that might just trigger us to come after you full-fledged. Full stop. Full stop. No more your tyranny. Your information, propaganda. Frick, we should be taking the Nuremberg Code to the news organizations, the propagandists, the liars, the ones that are funded none other than Pfizer, Fox News, CNN, ABC Soup News, all the talking head agencies. We should be going after them full-fledged, even more so than the pharmaceuticals. I take it back, like more than the pharmaceuticals. We should be serving those papers to those propagandist outlets that have deceived people into going into the pharmacy. Yeah, I believe that would be an amazing call to action. Let's go. Let's get on board with that. I'll try to figure out a way. News. They're not news, by the way. They're just propagandist liar spreaders. They fulfill the orders of their slave masters. Serving. I will try futuristically to lead by example on that charge and produce some type of material on that. But let's collectively hit the record, whether it's phone calls, actual showing up in person. But let's see to it this shot and these individuals stop, like actually do their job more so than fulfill what their slave master. Like, we're watching. We know, and let's tell them we know. I think they will question what they're actually doing. Like, shoot, we thought we got away with it. All the lies and deceit. America's letting us, they know. How many of these institutions would collapse due to that, or they would leave? They might even start on their personal social medias apologizing, trying to gain some type of humanity and normacy to where we don't come after them. I mean, if they have any rational thinking and left in them, maybe they believe the full BS they spewed. Am I trying to prolong this episode a bit? Let it really absorb? Yes. This is the last content Janet was able to create, as far as I know, before they murdered her. We got to absorb that. Let's bring more people into, there's still more heavy hitting things. I'm just going to continue throughout this episode to call people to action, to get people more on this live, more sharing this episode.
COVID-19 was the test of social responsibility. A huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of citizens across the world. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, mass vaccinations, and acceptance of contact tracing applications for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility. And the dissidents? They were ridiculed, humiliated, fined, silenced, forbidden to leave their country, beaten up, arrested, and thrown in jail. Oh, don't worry, it's all legal, as we actually have a European law enabling the police to shoot and kill protesters.
Wow.
The Cabal had thought of everything.
Think of the Cabal in the certain current administration that actually passed the word's slipping. It's slipping my mind. I forget the proper word on the documentation, but the order or whatever. Directive. That's what it is. They actually passed a directive for the first time in American history that allows them to utilize our military to use lethal force against the American people. Could they still potentially be queuing up for something? Formally, I mean, we have Brad Miller. We have had so many military members on this podcast speaking out. Lucas has talked about this. That he is a former Army officer, has never been more concerned than now for the military too. And this was pre this directive. But for our corrupt government, occupied country to use the army against we the people or military. So there's even Brad Miller had made it onto Stu Peters where he asked Brad, as a 19-year army, I believe he almost made colonel. Let's be real. How realistic is it to ask the question of our actual armed forces to be used against the civilian populace? And Brad answered in a pretty powerful way of realistically stating, well, Stu, I'm just summing it up, summarizing, something to the effect of, not word for word, but he basically stated the reality of the purge with the COVID, getting out the most morally upright individuals, fulfilling their oath against this type of tyranny. Well, Stu, we've never been closer than we are now to actually seeing that reality take place. Yeah, absorb that. Is it just coincidence they passed that directive? Could it be the Cabal is planning something or planning against something, or this type of movement? So what? Out of fear, we're not going to take that action? Out of fear, we're going to choose slavery and the continual perpetuating and not see proper accountability? Out of fear? Really? When our loved ones were mass genocided, their fertility was taken from them. Their babies, unborn, were taken from them. The numbers is all there. It's all been presented in this very series. We're not going to address that. We're just going to sweep that under the rug. Even worse, we're going to lie to ourselves. The choice is yours. God gave you that agency. I'm not here to twist your arm, but I'm not going to muzzle myself about the truth. I'm going to stand for truth, no matter where it lands. I pray it doesn't trigger individuals to, man, you're just some, how could you say that? We are bringing the full receipts. In fact, Janet, full credit to Janet and Cynthia for bringing the full receipts. It's undeniable. Let's not lie to ourselves. Seriously, let's wake up. We were put in this time to do more, let's be real, than we're in fact doing. Some people may not like that. I'm sure a lot of people don't want to hear that. But come on. Ask the person in the mirror, could you do more? I'll even admit, yeah, to the person in the mirror, I could even do more. And I will do harder. I will do my best to work harder at achieving that. If we kind of all collectively had that moment, well, the outcome would be better. Full stop.
We will not go deeply into the so-called vaccines. Research is still going on at this moment in time, and there are some excellent websites where you can follow both the research and the horrifying discoveries.
Yeah. Any one of these
we can
are
wrap
worth
it up
a screenshot.
Innocent people around the world were injected with a deadly poison. Some died straight away or within a few weeks.
Undeniable. Proof after proof. Freaking bodybuilders, come on now.
Others were crippled with sudden neurological disorders.
Can we do it for them? Could we muster up the courage for the injured, for the dead? Please. Let's see things for what they are. The cabal, evil, the synagogue of Satan has waged war against us. Are we not going to answer
The
back?
majority would die eventually due to blood clots.
My gosh. It seems a few viewers are dropping out, not willing to handle the truth. So you know what? Let's fight back, and by getting more people into this live stream. This is unbelievable. Come on.
Oh my God.
Due to vaccine-induced cancer,
Let's bring more in, folks.
or the self-assembling qualities of graphene oxide,
Look at-
turning the
look at that.
vaccinated into walking antennas, great big receivers of 5G and other frequencies.
There is so much evidence and information. I believe these shots. I believe the chemtrails. I believe what's being put in food, in water. Why are they trying to put vaccines into our food? Why have they been successful in lettuce, tomatoes, and tobacco products in doing that? Lord knows how many other things. Could be lotions, could be, skin creams, oral supplements. They could be, like, think about the distribution of wealth. Think of how much money this has even made singularly Bill Gates, a front man for the cabal, a face to the cabal that has deceived us as though, yes, through the Bill and Melinda Gates doing all these good things and philanthropy, which she also exposed in what? 5 solid episodes as to the evil Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has actually achieved. So much evil, so much murder, so much suffering, so much handicaps. You can see the atrocities they experimented out in Africa. What they wanted to do there is tests to bring, not just here to America, but worldwide, which they have been too successful in doing. Wow, I could tell I did not get enough nourishment between these back-to-back episodes, and I do not want to fail. I do not want to fail Janet in broadcasting this. So I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to get a quick snack to make sure. It's just an issue I have when I go too long without enough nourishment. More than likely, being so ramped up is eating the last bit of nourishment I need. So I'm going to get like a protein shake in me real quick, but let's continue while I do that. Come on, let's get more people in. This is the last episode before they murdered Janet.
Que lograba una cámara cómo fallece de forma fulminante, se muere como si lo hubieran disparado. Pero que justo en el momento que cae de la bicicleta se observa una interferencia en la cámara, como si hubiera recibido un pulso electromagnético. Pero bueno, fíjate, se para justo allí en la farola, ahí está un segundito. Fíjate cuando falla la cámara y justo en el momento coincide con la fulminación. Ahí, hay un fallo, ¿te has dado cuenta? Y cae repentino.
Come on now, that breaks my heart.
Esta es la prueba, porque ya no es una cuestión de que el tío se cae fulminado por algo interno a él, sino que hay un desencadenante externo que queda grabado en el registro de la cámara. El pulso que ha hecho esa interferencia en la cámara ha hecho una interferencia en el ritmo cardíaco. Esa imagen es buenísima. Es la primera prueba, vamos a decir, de que hay una causa que pudiera estar desencadenando desde el exterior las famosas repentinitis.
Ooh, that's a good question. What happened there? Total lie.
Hay 4 picos estañados en 4 formas perfectamente cuadrangulares, rectangulares y circuitería dentro. Son componentes electrónicos. Aquí hay otra esquina perfectamente artificial. Esto es microtecnología, probablemente microrouter. Se está introduciendo microtecnología dentro de nuestros familiares, dentro de personas que han sido totalmente engañadas. ¿Cómo no van a originar trombos?
Whether these individuals, in fact, are hitting this out of the park or they're getting some of this information wrong, irrelevant. We should not get in our own way from actually trying to figure out and get to the bottom of what really is happening here.
Originar todo tipo de infartos y enfermedades cardiovasculares. ¿Cómo esto no va a generar arritmias? Les pido a toda la comunidad médica inmediatamente que acaben con este genocidio encubierto. No podemos permitir ni un segundo más que esta gente coloque una inyección más, y especialmente a nuestros hijos. Hago desde aquí un llamamiento a todos los jueces y magistrados del país, de nuestro país. O hacen algo inmediatamente con esto, o vamos directamente a los juzgados y nos ponemos patas arriba a todos.
Love it.
Y vamos como tengamos que ir, porque esto ya no se puede consentir. O ustedes cogen el informe Campra que demostraba todo esto y más, o tomamos otro tipo de consecuencias, porque esto ya no se puede consentir de ninguna forma. Que me llamen a declarar, que me llamen a declarar. Vuelvo a repetir, Ricardo Delgado Martín con DNI 79-2020-99 de Navarra. Se ofrece ante cualquier fiscal, magistrado, juez de nuestro país y de cualquier otra parte del mundo a demostrar lo que hay dentro de las vacunas. Esto es un auténtico genocidio. Un auténtico genocidio. Un crimen contra toda la humanidad que no se puede permitir.
The rest of the vaccinated would eventually be killed by their own reprogrammed immune system. And the unvaccinated they too would get a portion of the above due to a phenomenon called shedding. Shedding means that the vaccinated pass the harmful graphene onto the unvaccinated, either by physical contact or through the air when in close proximity. That's why unvaccinated children of Jap parents also have anomalies in their blood cells.
Come on, you can't argue against the evidence. Sorry about eating. I need the nourishment to continue. Forgive me.
Oh, and make no mistake. Just in case you are unvaxxed and you believe that these are just tiny amounts that can cause no harm, you're mistaken. Graphene is everywhere. In chemtrails raining down on you.
Never has it been so easy to pull so much material out of the dirt, out of the sand. There are individuals that are scraping fresh dirt that has settled like out of the sky, and they scrape it off the windshield of their vehicle and run a magnet and pick up. So it's just proof of all the metals, aluminum, graphene oxide, things that they're spraying in our air. Unbelievable. Oh, this is crazy.
Sanitary products.
That is made with a strip infused with Nobel Prize-winning material, graphene.
Really?
In clothing, in food packaging, and in medicine. And once it's in your body, even the smallest quantities will self-assemble into bigger and bigger strands. Under the influence of electromagnetic frequencies, nobody remains unaffected.
You're seeing it with your eyes, folks. And these substances are making it into our bodies. We can only fathom and imagine the impacts that's actually having.
We should have known all along, as Hollywood warned us years in advance, as always. Like we said, research about the poisonous jab and their horrific effects is still being conducted full speed.
Unbelievable.
Right now, we don't know what causes these attacks. We don't know why black-eyed babies are born from vaccinated parents. We don't know what on earth enables some newborns to hold up their head only hours after birth. To be born with 1 or 2 teeth. To walk only weeks or just a few months after that. and for some to have quite adult faces. Time will tell what we are truly dealing with here. Prince Philip once said, "In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus in order to contribute something to solve overpopulation." But the Cabal never needed a deadly virus. They just needed basic psychology, some torture methods, and a bioweapon brought to you as a vaccine.
My career, my financial life, my reputation, almost my family, everything, just to sit here and tell you what I'm telling you. Dr. Luc Montagnier, who won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for the discovery of HIV, said that this is the biggest risk to humanity and the biggest risk of genocide in the history of humanity. We follow the advice of some of the quote-unquote global leaders, let's say like Bill Gates said last year, 7 billion people need to be vaccinated. The death rate will be over 2 billion people. So wake up. This is World War III. This is a level of malfeasance and malevolence that we have not seen,
right,
probably in the history of humanity.
Look at that. Yeah, he's had amazing research.
According to Deagle, a private online source for the military capabilities of the world's countries, showing current overviews and future predictions of population numbers, there will be a massive decline worldwide. These predicted population numbers can no longer be found on Deagle's website. They were taken down as soon as people started asking questions. One now has to use the Wayback Machine in order to get to Deagle's population numbers. We will show you 3 quite alarming examples.
Right.
The USA, the UK, and Norway. The population numbers of the US will go down from 327 to 100 million people between 2017 and 2025. More than 2/3 of the entire US population will disappear. The UK will go from 66 million to 15 million people. 51 million people gone. Norway will go from 5.3 to 3.8 million people. Not quite so alarming at first sight, but wait for it. Tenders have been released in which governments offer contracts to companies who can supply millions of body bags. Let's take a look at Norway, shall we? Pretty alarming after all, right? And this is a similar tender for the UK. In other words, governments are getting ready to handle millions and millions of corpses. And guess what? The body bags are only used to get the dead from one place to the next. Do you want to know what happens next? Ever heard of the liquefying bill? Governments have come up with the most sustainable way to quickly get rid of the dead, by using alkaline hydrolysis. Within 2 to 3 hours, the dead will be turned into bone fragments that are pulverized, plus a liquid byproduct called effluent, in layman's terms referred to as biosludge.
That's not good.
This can be spread over farmland as a fertilizer, or it can simply be wastewater for sewage treatment systems.
It's like cannibalism.
And the next step? You can safely drink it as tap water. Even though it's a fertilizer, it's clean and neutral, according to experts.
I see this as spiritual warfare. Evil's trying to... I mean, just think about that. Whether you're knowingly or unknowingly participating in whether you know, debatable form of cannibalism, I believe the intent is more so evil, just sadistic.
It's not as if you're drinking your grandmother.
What the...
After years of research, we believe the Cabal seriously intends to kill billions of innocent people. They set it in stone and presented it to the people like Moses presented God's laws to his people. The Cabal is playing God. They believe they have the God-given right to punish disobedient people and to spare the obedient ones. And right now, they are taking it to the next level, trying to outsmart and surpass God. Do you want to know what that looks like? Then follow me to part 27.
Folks, I don't know if part 27 ever got created. I'm going to look into this more deeply. But as you can see, she was just getting started. I'm actually going to check that out, that webpage. I'm so grateful for Janet and all her hard work. She was a true warrior. I blew through all my energy. You could see it. Once again, I'm sweating. I went too long without eating. My body's crashing on another live. But it's not about me. This is a very crucial, historical moment in time. And I'm so grateful for how beautifully, like tangibly, Janet laid out the original 10-part series we went through, the sequel all the way 1 through 26. Guys, what was it? 17, 18, all the way through here was so heavy hitting, was so eye-opening. Can we let this be that smoking gun? Can we bring more people into the reality? Now, I know there's some things like right there in the end, like I know that's biosludge, it's a legitimate and they're trying to do, I mean, are they going to those extents? Well, it's important we find out. I'm against it 100%. Only through knowledge, free speech platforms can we even have the opportunity of obtaining the truth. You could tell how evil they've been caught censoring truth time and time and time again. They've used and weaponized words to keep people from seeking truth. And that's war tactics. And it's been far too effective. It literally has been MK Ultra style mind control tactics to our own detriments. Could we all challenge ourselves to eat some humble pie and seek the truth? At this point, anything labeled conspiracy by certain individuals, I see like what I'm going to do just because you said that. I'm going to do a full-fledged investigation of my own on that topic. You could see past the weaponization of words from these evildoers. The devil is here. Come on, Christians. You know. Deceive. He's been projecting as though so many things are loving when they're entirely destructive. This proved it. Help us get the message out. I am utterly exhausted. I need a real meal. So I apologize. There truly is not words I could form at this point, even at my sharpest, that could sum up all this amazing information Janet has left us all. I'm convicted that she stood up against evil to such an extent. She caused them they saw her as a problem. So they took care of that. She pointed out many other and hundreds of other individuals throughout the series that took that same stance. The evil murdered. Not to mention all the effects of this, all of these war tactics. Let's not let them die in vain. Let's fight back to the best of our ability. Let's secure our freedoms, our future, our health, our free agency. It's all under threat. God does state that he won't allow the devil in this life to come between his love. Let that comfort you. Pray about it. See what inspiration or what with this information he leads you to do. Above all else. Well, Jesus is calling. Let's wrap up with this. More than likely, I'll even reference some of these episodes moving forward as I do more deep dives. But I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for you hearing my pleas and doing what you can to get more people on the live and share these messages with people. Like, land where it may. If they want to react negatively to it, so be it. Don't let it get to you. Be like, oh, well, I still love you. I mean, geez, I just found some of it interesting. You know, you don't have to participate and engage in all that evil. And we can more so through our actions walk a brighter path. Hopefully in doing that, it will attract them to follow suit or seek a brighter path of their own than the current destructive one they found themselves on. So November 19th, Jesus is calling. It reads, leave outcomes up to me. Follow me wherever I lead without worry about how it will turn out. Think of your life as an adventure with me as your guide and companion. Live in the now. Concentrate on staying in step with me. When our path leads to a cliff, be willing to climb it with my help. Are we in a moment before a cliff? If we rely on his help, we'll climb it. Be willing to climb it with my help. When we come to a resting place, take time to be refreshed in my presence. Enjoy the rhythm of life lived close to me. You already know the ultimate destination of your journey, your entrance into heaven. So keep your focus on the path just before you. Leaving out comes up to me. 2 biblical references. We have Psalm 27:13 through 14 and Exodus 15:13. Challenge you to check those out. Let's take a look at this live. Guys, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. This beautiful day. What better things to do other than gain more conviction as to why we're here? What we can do while we're here? Living in the moment and resorting to relying more and more on our heavenly creator. It's time to fulfill the love we have for everyone and lead by example. End up doing versus more so being mouthpieces. I love you all. I'm so grateful for you. I look forward to doing more to the best of my ability. I hope to serve you in a way that gains your trust and support, to continually show up and share and even financially support what I'm trying to do. This has been utterly great investment on my end. And I mean, we'll see. It's in God's hands. We'll see what happens. But if you feel impressed to financially support this podcast, just check out the links below. We got a Venmo, Cash App, GoFundMe. But we also have a bunch of affiliations, as I stumble over words, that not just will help the podcast, it'll help companies that are fighting on the front lines on our behalf and help you. So be sure to look through those thoroughly. And for example, why support tyrannical mobile networks when you can check out Patriot Mobile? Information's not going to hurt us. All right, that's a wrap. I'm done. I appreciate y'all. I cannot wait to continue to show up on the front lines on behalf of all God's children to the best of my ability. Am I perfect? No. Never claim to be. I'm just trying to do what I can. Dang it, and that's what's important. We just do. Let's be honest with the reflection in the mirror. And I believe there's more we all can do. The outcomes of that freaking pandemic and so many other things are completely unacceptable. Let's not accept them. Until next time, God bless. Take care.